YouTube. Quinn Wade coming to y'all basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We're going to talk about the Phoenix Sun and what to expect from them this up and coming season. They have changed a lot of their roster and they have added a lot of guys. Guys like Grayson Allen, who's on this roster, was able to be a guy that can spot up, shoot, get out in transition, and knock down some mid ranges from time to time and get to the basket. But just solid for them, and they ended up having a good role for him off that bench. Bull was a guy that was already kind of recruited by the star players on this team. He has huge size when it comes to length, and he's able to hit shots and be able to handle a little bit. You don't want him getting too comfortable with the ball because he's not the greatest with it, but at least he can make some plays and he can finish plays. He doesn't have any post-up game. He's just a guy that uses his length to be a solid defender. He could be better. He still has some potential, and he has a lot of upside, especially as he continues to grow out that body. And I think that he has been a guy that they really have liked on this roster, and that's why they put the recommendation for him to be on this particular team. You have guys like Ryan Dunn. I don't really see him getting too many more minutes because he's going to be playing the guard or the forward position. I think that he's going to be a guy that could be potentially rotation player at some point in his career, even if it's with this team. But I don't really see him making a huge impact on this team, but specifically this year. Other than that, you got Oso out of Marquette. He's another guy, 6'10" center. I think he's going to get a little bit more playing time than some other guys just because he plays the center position. And because of Yusuf Nurkic having injury problems throughout his career and Bo having size, physical problems that make him easy to score against as a big man if he's not using his length and his size to deteriorate shots. They need somebody that's strong and can box out and can rebound and can knock people around or be physical. I think Oso can do that for them. Tyus Jones is a huge piece to this team. As we have seen, they have nobody that can organize the offense, give guys their shots, and be able to allow them to play more off the ball or be able to create more shots in isolation. This team has some of the best scorers one-on-one in the league and some solid shooters too. It's great to have a guy that can get them some easy shots, some easy baskets in transition, some easy basket when they're cutting, and they don't have to work as hard to score. I think that that's the purpose of bringing him along this team because of his IQ and his feel for the game and his understanding of the game and being able to be a point guard that flourish by allowing people to benefit off of him. And Tyus Jones can create his own shot. He can hit the mid-range. He can hit the three. He can play off the ball. And that's something that they really needed at that point guard position. Damian Lee is a sniper, so it makes sense to bring him back. He's a guy that if you double team, triple team, or help a lot, he can always be open. Or if you don't pay attention, he can move without the ball and still be a catch and shoot guy. I think that they need those type of guys on this roster. That's the purpose of Grayson Allen. That's the purpose of Damian Lee. That's the purpose of a Monte Morris type of guy, a guy that can come in and score. I think he'll have a solid role on this particular roster, just like he had on Washington. He didn't really play too great, but you're not really expecting him to play major minutes. You're only expecting him to play 5 to 10 to 15 to maximum probably 20 minutes because they still rely heavy on their superstars to be able to bring them to victory. But I can see Monte Morris being a great addition because of the mid-range, because of the ability to be able to put the ball in his hands and he can create a shot and be able to knock down some spot-ups from time to time. Royce O'Neal, he's another great player for them. He's a guy that doesn't get in the way. He doesn't ask for the ball. He doesn't force shots. He's a guy that just understands his game and understands his role, and he knows exactly what the team needs when he comes into the game. That's why a lot of people like him, but it makes sense. Like I said, he can play multiple positions. He can guard multiple positions from guard to forward to power forward, and I think that that's important for a guy like him. And that's why he's still in the league at 31 because he's just that good at that role, and he flourishes in it. Josh Okogie, they need him because they don't really have too many defenders and too many people that's going to go out there and compete for each possession. And I feel like that's something that you can't say about Josh Okogie. Not the greatest offensive player, but you got plenty of offense on this particular roster that you don't really have to look forward to that too much. And same thing with Mason Plumlee. We just need you to rebound. We need you to set screens. We need you to dunk. We need you to make some free throws, and we need you to stay out the way for the most part and just be a solid defender. And he is a physical type of player, so they have two bruisers. I think Mason gonna get a lot of minutes because they're gonna need him just in case Yusuf Nurkic go down. They have a guy that can still get the job done with the small little things. And Yusuf Nurkic, he can hit a three, he can hit a mid range, he can post a little bit, he can dunk, he can finish, he can knock down free throws at a decent percentage for a center. And obviously he's not the greatest center, but he's still good enough to be a starter. This is basically what's going to happen to your roster when you paying your superstars the money that they ask for, and they willing to go to any team. And most teams will pay these type of guys that type of money because you need stars to win and you need superstars to build around, and you need superstars to make the role player's job easy. And this team is loaded with them. I think that their roster is deep. They have 9 to 10 players that you can rely on to make shots or make plays, and that's all you really need. Your starting five is one of the best starting fives in the entire NBA. You already know if you're healthy enough, you're going to be a playoff team. But this is not why they put the team together. They put the team together because they feel like they can win with Devin Booker as a superstar. They wasn't able to win with the Chris Paul iteration of the team, so they go in a different direction with Kevin Durant, some new guys that's hungry enough to want to compete out there with a guy like Devin Booker that is a zero tolerance guy. He likes to be great. He likes to dominate. He likes to play at a high level. That's the type of leadership you want your young superstar to have, as he's only 27 years old. But he's a guy that's unstoppable some nights, and that's what you need is a closer, a guy that's not afraid of the moment, a guy that can step up in big moments. And we done seen Devin Booker do that throughout his career, and we done seen him even help a team get to an NBA Finals, even though Chris Paul was one of the biggest corporates of why that worked out. Now he has a guy in similar type of legacy in Kevin Durant for another year. I told you that we had to see this team play it out from the first time they traded for Kevin Durant to a year like that, trying to get continuity, and then this year deepening out that roster a little bit more to get the best out of Kevin Durant. You need him to stay healthy. Same with Devin Booker, same with Bradley Beal. And if you're going to do it that way, you need guys that you trust. And I feel like they have a lot of similarities in some other rosters with some of the role players. But that just lets you know they got guys that they actually like on the roster. And that's something that you need to have when you're trying to compete for championships. And then you look at Bradley Beal. He's getting older, but he's one of the most toughest players to guard, has great handles, can get to his spots, can get to the paint, can knock down shots from the mid-range, can knock down shots off the dribble from three, can get out in transition very quick, very fast type of player. And just a guy that has been a solid decision maker. And it's crazy that they went for him, but he is one of the best guards in the league, and he's virtually unstoppable as a player. So it makes sense that they put their eggs in one basket, and we might as well try to go for the best player that we can get available that actually makes some type of sense for us. And I think that it will come together a lot better this year, but it's still going to be hard to see this team not being a playing team when they're older. They don't play as great of enough defense. They're not the greatest rebounding team. They're not the best team when it comes to health. And I think those things add up to you being a team that's going to be competitive, a team that's going to be respected, a team that you're going to have to prepare for, but also a team that's going to be comfortable if they make it or if they don't. I mean, Kevin Durant has shown that I just want to hoop. I just want to play. I already won my championships. I already won my finals MVP. I already won the MVP. I'm not one of the best players right now. I'm top 15, top 10-ish. And, my legacy is already grand, put in, submitted in NBA history. And guys like Devin Booker are still fighting for theirs. Same with Bradley Beal. They're going to be those dogs that you need to continue to bark and continue to push guys, so they can get their championship and they can get their opportunity to be on a big stage again and possibly win a championship for the first time. And Kevin Durant has just been very nonchalant, but he still can get buckets. He still can be a guy that can be a solid playmaker. He's still a guy that can be a solid rebounder. He's still a guy that can hit big shots, make big plays, and close games. If some other guys don't want to take the shot, you can always throw it to him, and he can make it look easy. So Kevin Durant is still one of the best scorers in the entire NBA. He just has a different personality and a different perspective now that he's been in the NBA for years and achieved a lot of different goals. He's not the same Kevin Durant that he was, and he's 35 years old. So it makes a lot of sense, and he's only getting older from here. Like, You know this is a young man's game and a young man sport, so you have to respect that he's going to decline, especially after coming after a Jones fracture and the Achilles tear. He's going to be a little bit worse. He's not going to be as healthy as he used to be because of his age and the injuries that he has sustained already. But you do need to eventually try to figure out what is next for Devin Booker because Kevin Durant can just leave. Like, there's no extension talks happening. He doesn't have to do it anyway. And for what I see, Phoenix is not really a championship place right now, even after the Bradley Beal trade, because we seen that a year ago. Now you want them to be healthier. Now you really want to see what you got. Now you want to see, can the role players step up a little bit? Can your superstars play a little bit better? Can Tyus Jones get them a little bit more in order so things flow a little bit better? And other than that, that's your hope, is to rely on your role players to fill in those gaps and fill in those needs and play better than they did last year. And you just expect your superstars to play at a higher level for more games than they did last year. And you expect that to help prepare them for the playoffs where they can have their best performances too. And then you can look at this team how people thought they probably would be, which is a championship contender, which most people don't believe that they are. When they first traded for Kevin Durant, everybody thought that this was a championship move. 2 years later, it ain't reality right now. Even after the moves they did this offseason, I liked them more than I did back then. Post Kevin Durant trade, because they got more guys that can space the floor, more guys that can put the ball on the floor, more guys they can create their own shot, and more guys that can play off the ball. So it made sense to get these type of guys to play with these guys. But are these guys going to be able to compete with the teams that's already playing better defensively and care more and more hungry and want it more, like the Minnesotas, like the Denvers, like the Memphis Grizzlies, like a lot of these other teams, the Lakers and all these other teams. And that's why I say, well, if they got swept last year by the Minnesota Timberwolves, it showed you that they at a point where they have to just play it out and see if they can rebuild or retool around Devin Booker again. Because Kevin Durant, if he sees his team lacking or he sees another opportunity, he hasn't been shy saying when he was in a press conference with the Phoenix Suns, one of the first games they played, I might not be here that long either. That's something that he said out of his own mouth. So it's not something that Phoenix fans will be happy about hearing, but at least he was being honest. But they had him for 3 years, and they built the best roster this year that they could around them, and this is just going to be an evaluation year. Can we really win with them? How do we win with them? How do we keep them happy? How do we, put the best chances around him to win compared to other teams in the NBA? And if we fail to do that or we fail to convince him, then we lose the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. But at least we still keep Devin Booker. At least we still keep Bradley Beal. And then we got to see what we got and what we have to do to go in a different direction. But I think it's a good thing. At least you knew the trial and the error happened already. Then he falls off your books, and then you can go in a different direction with another superstar player, possibly to pair with Devin Booker again, and see if you can get back to where Chris Paul and Mikal and DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker led you to before, and that's all you can hope for. But what I expect from the Phoenix Suns, playoff team, what I expect, first round exit, second round exit, depending on the matchup, depending on if the teams are healthy. And I just don't really look at them as a championship contender. I don't really look at them as a great team. I just look at them as a team that's the sum of their parts. They got some that fit well, some that make sense, but they also got guys that's just not great defensively, guys that don't try as hard, guys that don't want it as much, and guys that just don't seem like this prioritizing winning is something that they don't really care. They want to survive. They want to take care of their family. And basketball success comes after that. And that's how you have teams that's mediocre. And I feel like this is a good team. I don't feel like they're great. I don't feel like they're amazing. I don't feel like this is a must-watch team anymore either, just based on what I've been saying in the playoffs. But you still got to do it as an analyst. That's my job, so I still do it anyway. But other than that, I'm a little disappointed that this Kevin Durant thing in Brooklyn didn't work out. The Kevin Durant and Phoenix thing is similar, that you're going to make up all these reasons because it's Kevin Durant, and then you look back in reality and say he hasn't been good for a long time. And you can say, well, his Achilles injury is a major factor in that. And I was I would agree with that. Messed up his timing, messed up his feel for the game, messed up his competitiveness, messed up his mental because you gotta always have that in the back of your mind. You don't want to go through that again. And it messed him up defensively. He doesn't care as much. He doesn't try as hard. He doesn't, demand it even from his teammates. And that's just something that we know already. It's in the open. It's in the public. We hear it. We see it. It's obvious for people that watch a lot of games. The Suns going to follow their leaders, and if they're being cool and nonchalant and not being competitive enough, guys gonna say, I still get my check. I'm still getting my respect around the league, and it can help me continue to stay in the league after Phoenix. Then it makes sense because all these guys left other teams to join this team for a certain amount of money, and then they see that this is the best opportunity for me, myself, and my career, even if I'm winning or not. But they're going to win enough games because they're talented, sadly. But then again, that's how good this team's still going to be offensively. They're going to be good enough to be able to beat the bad teams and the okay teams, and they're going to struggle against the great and the contenders. But you only got to beat them every once in a while in the regular season to solidify yourself as a play-in team. And that's all you really need to do is put yourself in that conversation to be a playoff team. And then that's a decent type of success for a team that's built like this and that was put together like this, especially with new ownership. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, so that way you can be notified to get more analysis. And if you like analysis and you like this channel, there's a lot of videos on my channel, 2,000 plus, that's just like this. I do breakdowns. I do breakdowns and tributes of the greatest players, the current greatest players. And I do have a lot of videos coming out on a daily. So if you love basketball, you love that type of content, you want it every day, you can't get enough of it, this is a channel, and probably the only channel that does that. And if you can't get enough of that, that's the purpose of subscribing. If you've been subscribed, it's some videos that you might missed out on, you didn't see, or you was busy, or you ended up skipping it. You might want to go back and watch that too, because it's just great entertainment and great knowledge inside of these videos. And since you're a subscriber, you'll love it anyway. It's just good that y'all check them out eventually. That's all I can ask you guys to do, and just continue to support it with the like and the notification bell. That's the best I can ask you for. Other than that, I'm gone.